Hi there, and Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays. I just wanted to make a short video for you just to look at Slimming World and how to stick to and maintain a low calorie diet over the festive season. So, as we all know, it's quite hard to be on a diet or a low calorie diet any time of the year, but particularly at special occasions or Christmas, it can be very difficult. So, the first thing I would like to say is please continue to gain support through any sort of networks that you've got set up. Now, some people do Slimming World in a class, they go weekly and they can join a class and they can get really good support from the class. Other people, like myself, do it on their own and they use apps or different books just to keep up with the Slimming World program, or as I say, a low calorie diet as well. So, what I would say is try and gain support from your friends and the people that you've met, or from any means that you use just to continue to follow the diet. So, the first danger zone I would say is definitely just overeating in general. So what I would say is Christmas dinner in itself is actually not that bad a meal. It's all the other things that go around with the festive period. So Christmas dinner itself normally contains turkey or a meat, and if you're vegan or vegetarian, some sort of vegetable dish, and lots of veg and some gravy. So in itself, that's not really a bad thing. Most people in Slimming World know how to make a good roast with using lower calorie or lower fat products and not doing a lot of deep frying or eating like chips or roast potatoes. So in itself, Christmas dinner is fab, and that's the way to go for a nice Christmas meal. It's the other things that go along with that. So alcohol is probably one of the top things that you'll see posts about on various online social media. Everybody wants to know what kind of alcohol. So I'm just going to tell you a bit about that. And sweets and chocolate is also a big thing at Christmas. You can get lots and lots of sweets and chocolate, and there can be a temptation just to eat your way through all that chocolate, and you will end up gaining weight. Party food as well. Often party food is very high in calories. It's seen as a treat and it's seen as tasty. Now, quite often, these sort of party sort of food snack packs that you get from your main supermarkets like Tesco, Asda, Sainsbury's, they all contain a lot of high fat content and a lot of sugar if it's like a sweet treat as well. And the other big issue is cold weather and having to stay in. So I will do another video about how just to keep up with your exercise over the winter and Christmas period. But one of the main problems that people always come across is sitting watching the television at night and just eating lots of snacks. So straight on to alcohol. So the first thing I would say is lots of people ask, what's the best drink to have while on the Slimming World or a low calorie diet? Now, the first thing I would say is most of you will probably know by now, but a lot of fizzy drinks are just full of sugar. So people talk about low fat Coke or whatever, but it's not low fat, it's sugar that is the main component. Other drinks that you could consider, tomato juice, again, is quite high in sugar and quite harsh on the stomach. But if you're just having the odd drink, you can have a Bloody Mary, and that wouldn't be too bad for your diet. Things to avoid are wines. Most wines have an awful lot of sugar. There are some low calorie ones now, so you can get low calorie wine, which is really good. I don't drink myself, so I do have alcohol-free beer, and there's a few that are really good. There's a Budweiser that's very low in sugar, and the one that I quite like at the moment is Heineken, and that's a no alcohol, low sugar substitute. And what I do is I actually mix that with some 7-Up or Sprite, low calorie. So that's actually a really nice drink. I really enjoy that. And the other good thing that you can do is just to make a big bowl of fruit punch. So there's all sorts of these drinks out for Christmas. There's lots of low calorie diet squashes, things like that. You can pair that with some low calorie ginger ale, There's lots of different drinks that you can add together. Be careful of fruit juices. They are quite high in sins. You can just check your sin calculator, but they are quite high because they do have a lot of sugar. If you eat a whole fruit on the Slimming World, that is seen as free food for most fruits. But when you do just take the juice, it's the way your body processes it, it's just turns to straight sugar, and there's no fibre to help your body sort of like work through the sugar in the fruit. So I would say try and avoid a lot of just pure fruit juices. But again, if you are out, something like just orange and wine, like a spritzer, something like that, you could just have one or two, and you would just have to count that towards your sins. So on to sweets and chocolate. So the first thing I would recommend is that you just say to your friends and family that you are trying to follow a low-calorie diet, and if they could just minimise the amount of sweets and chocolates that they pass your way. Now that might be difficult if you've got family or other people in the house. There might just be lots and lots of sweets and chocolate. So I would say it's probably fairly obvious by now, but sweets and chocolates are very high in sins. It's a bit shocking to see exactly how high. So you might find like one chocolate is worth sort of 3 or 4 sins each. Now, if you think you could probably eat about 4 or 5 in one go, that's all your sins for the day, and there's no other sins left for the rest of your meals or any healthy options for your sins. So I would say, unfortunately, you will have to really try and limit it. Now, some people have different options that they use to limit the amount that they're taking. Sometimes they'll make little if they make little like snack packs where they'll have like maybe one chocolate and some fruit or some vegetables or whatever, but they'll sort of make up like packs. I would say one of the good things that you can do is just have some chopped up fruit or vegetables just in little tubs, so they're very easy just to take, and you can maybe eat that while other people are having their sort of higher calorie food. The one thing that I will always try and keep in mind is that when you reach your goal, you will get the opportunity to eat a few more sins. And as we always say, Slimming World, I don't work for Slimming World, I'm not a representative, but when you're on a low calorie diet, it is a lifestyle and it's a choice. So try and keep in your head the positive things you've learned about sort of sacrificing one thing, but you're actually gaining your health and you're gaining the ability to lose weight and look forward to a healthier future. So I would say really try and limit the amount that you take. And the other thing you can do is there's lots and lots of people online and they make really healthy alternatives. So there's one I can think of right off the top of my head, and it's a dessert that people are making with stewed apple and chocolate. So it's called a 2-ingredient, people call it chocolate cake or chocolate mousse. And you would have to look up a recipe, but you stew down apple and you blend that with melted chocolate. So as you can probably guess, cooked apple does have some sins on Slimming World, and so does chocolate. But when you're whipping that up, you're making like a healthier option. So that's one thing I would say is just remember that it's healthy air, it's not healthy. Often people use a lot of dates and things, and dates are considered healthy because they don't spike your blood sugar as much as other sweeteners. But as I say, you can also take a lot of dates. Same with nuts. These are also offered as a healthy option, but it's healthy air. It's just better for you than having lots of straight chocolate or sugary sweets. So the next thing I would say is party food is probably to avoided most of the time. So a lot of party food contains pastry. So pastry is one of the highest fat content foods that there are, and also it's often got a lot of cheese or dairy products or high fat content meat inside. So I would say be very careful, even if it looks sort of a slightly healthy option. Most pastry is very high in fat, and you will find that you can have a couple of sausage rolls, and the equivalent of that, you could have had like a whole meal of like a homemade chicken and vegetable stir fry. You could have had a whole meal for the amount of sins that you have used up on like one sausage roll. So I would say things that are high in fat tend to be pastry, a lot of cheese, fried foods, obviously anything deep fried. There are a lot of people giving recipes for air fryer recipes, and they are much better and much healthier. I would say if you are going to a party, try and make a few dishes yourself and take that along, so you know that there is an option for you, and also you can just share your ideas with some other people as well. So the other good options for a platter is just crudités, which is chopped up vegetables with low calorie dips. You can make quite healthy dips, things like guacamole. Avocados are quite high in fat, so I think often they are sinned. But if you are looking just to have some healthy fats, that's a good way to have it. There's also things like hummus, which you can make yourself. You can leave out a lot of the oil in pre-made hummus from the supermarket, and you can make really healthy versions. And salsa is a great one. It's just chopped tomatoes, coriander, garlic. You can mix up a really healthy salsa, and that is great just to have as a snack. So onto that, snacks also follow on nicely to watching the TV at night. So because it gets dark, it's cold in the UK, it's dark outside really early, and there's not an awful lot to do in the outside world. So I'm going to post a wee video, as I said, just giving some tips about how to stay healthy. But most of us will end up watching the TV quite a bit, or maybe sitting reading a book. It depends what you like to do in the evenings, or even just chatting with friends if you have people over. Again, I would say try and make some healthy options, things like mince pies, very high in sugar and very high in fat. So if you can try and make like a low calorie, like carrot cake or some muffins or something that you can have, so you don't feel like you're being denied your food, but you can have a healthy treat. There's lots of oat bars, things like that you can sort of have. I really like the chocolate covered rice cakes. Now they are quite high in sins. I was really shocked to see how high they are. They're about 4 or 5 sins per rice cake, but there are some really good ones out there, and I'm really enjoying them at the moment. And there's also Kalo make some really nice Thai chili rice cakes. And the first rice cakes that I've had that I feel have a lot of taste in the sort of savoury department. Don't get me wrong, Snacker Jacks are quite good, but there's a lot of them that don't really have much taste. So you can just get some of these. I would say the Thai Kalo are really, really nice. So you could just have a couple of them with a nice gin and tonic, and you feel like you're having a snack, you feel like you're having a drink. And the other good thing is popcorn. If it's popped without fat, and if it's not sort of commercially sweetened, then that's also really good. Just fresh homemade popcorn, popped without fat, in the microwave. Then you can just add some salt, and that's actually quite healthy. Again, you do have to count your sins as always, but you can have a nice bowl of popcorn and you can really enjoy it. So I would say I just wanted to share all these ideas with you. If you do have ideas for recipes, please link them in below, because people will be having a wee look and putting in a comment. So if you can put in any really good recipes and you'd like to share that, that would be great. And I would say just try not to really worry about things. I don't like the thought of people just being really fearful if they go to a party. One of the things I always say is if you do a bit of dancing and keep yourself active in between, then it's really not that bad. A lot of people ask, can you save all your sins and use them in the one go? And the answer is yes, you can, but it's not highly recommended. The idea of sins is to use throughout the day, And I would also suggest that you do use some of your sins for healthy options. I always try and add in some healthy fats into my meals because I don't believe that sins are really there just for high calorie food. You see a lot of people saying, oh, these are my sins, and it's chocolate bars and Biscoff. To be honest, I'd never eaten Biscoff until I started following some slimming sort of people online, and I ended up buying a jar of Biscoff and I ate it in like a week, and that was just crazy. So please try not, nothing against Biscoff, but please try not to get hooked in to people's ideas of how to cheat the system. The system's there for a reason. It works. We've all lost weight on Slimming World, and it is a really good program. But I would say everything in moderation, and try just to sort of work with your sins as the days go by. And as everybody says, if you are going out for a meal, don't panic. There is also a lot of theory that if you eat a bit more on one day and then less the rest of the days, it helps to kickstart your metabolism. So I wouldn't panic too much if you do end up having sort of some more of, you know, a sort of certain meal or whatever. And I would say just try and pair it with something good. One of the things that comes to mind is something like pizza. If you can, just pair like one slice of pizza with like quite a bit of salad. Homemade pizza especially you can make with not actually that much calories if you make a really good proper pizza dough, and just put a light sprinkling of cheese and some sort of like low calorie topping like chicken and sweet corn or chicken and onion, something like that. You can actually make it quite low in calories, and then you just add in some nice fresh salad and you feel like you've had a treat but you've not actually had lots of like really greasy pizza with lots and lots of cheese. So I really hope that you can enjoy Christmas. I do have some more videos. I'm going to do one about the actual Christmas dinner itself, how to get some really good choices on that. And we will see you soon. Have fun. Bye.